I'm pleased to bring in right now the founder and the president of Article 3 Project. Mike Davis joins us now. Mike, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You know, those are valid questions. What's going on, the signature there. There's a lot of questions, though, about also, I want to get your reaction first to Donald Trump will be interviewed by the FBI on the attempt of his life. He says he'll go back to Butler. But so many failures, a local SWAT team talking about this lack of communications here. Donald Trump clearly will go back. He wants to honor Corey, the firefighter, the hero, and the two that were injured, brave patriots, as he says here. How concerned are you about the fact that this was just way too close and the communications failure, Mike? It seems just, how could this be in where we are today and the minutes that have passed when they saw somebody to letting Trump get on that stage?
President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris tried to bankrupt Trump. They tried to throw him in prison for the rest of his life. They tried to take him off the ballot. And then they intentionally underfunded President Trump's Secret Service detail. They denied several requests. Their administration denied several requests from Trump's Secret Service detail to beef up his security. And they beefed up President Zelensky's security, but they refused to beef up President Trump's security. The responsibility for what happened to President Trump, this near assassination, is squarely on the doorstep of President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
And I want to play a little bit from the Butler SWAT team, who's now talking about, the lack of resources that day that goes really directly to the point you just articulated. Let's play this.
We were supposed to get a face-to-face briefing with the Secret Service snipers whenever they arrived, and that never happened. So I think that was probably a pivotal point where I started thinking things were wrong, because that never happened, and we had no communication with the Secret Service.
You had no communication with the Secret Service at all on that Saturday?
No, not until after the shooting, I believe.
Moving forward, are you concerned about President Trump's safety when he's out on the trail moving around, or do you think that now he's implemented his own security and they had to?
I'm very concerned for President Trump's safety because President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have made it their campaign strategy to say that President Trump is an existential threat to democracy. He is a dictator who must be stopped at all costs. And when you underfund his Secret Service detail and say you want to put a bullseye on him, what the hell do they think was going to happen?
Yeah, well, the unthinkable, clearly it was so close, millimeters, just what a miracle that day, and he will be going back. Shows the strength and courage that he has as well. What do you make of this this line of attack here? I just want to play a little bit how the media is parroting this weird thing. They're saying J.D. Vance is weird. The people who love to fly their freak flag, the wokest administration. Here's some of the comments coming out of Kamala and the left.
They come across weird. They seem obsessed with this.
We're using this fake living room to talk to you about a super weird idea from J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's quite weird.
But what was weird was him joking about racism today and then talking about Diet Mountain Dew. Who drinks Diet Mountain Dew?
On the other side, they're just weird. I mean, they really are.
Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
Sam Brinton, Rachel Levine, the woke administration. No, that's not weird at all. J.D. Vance, a veteran, Yale graduate, he's weird. No one's buying this. I would hope not. But, Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, these D.C. elitists who support BLM and Antifa and Hamas and trans terrorists, and they want to give gender-affirming care. They want to give kids life-altering pills and surgeries to take off their genitals. They think other people are weird. They are projecting here. These Democrats are the weirdest people on the planet.
Projecting, that's right. I'm not a psychologist, but I do know that term, and it seems to be very fitting for where we are. Listen, you clerked for Neil Gorsuch in the Supreme Court. What do you make of Biden? It's not going to go through, but the fact they're even floating a reform to the Supreme Court justices, they want to have these term limits. They want to make sure there's no immunity for crimes from a former president committed in office, binding code of conduct. Why are they talking? I mean, it would take a constitutional amendment, which they'll never get. But Why do you think this serves them in any way, shape, or form? When you just mentioned all the lawfare, I mean, doesn't this sort of underscore just how much they want to undermine our institutions and what America stands for?
This is a radical assault on judicial independence by President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. These left-wing judges controlled the Supreme Court for nearly 90 years. President Trump transformed the Supreme Court to the first constitutionalist majority in 90 years, and now President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris want to destroy that court. So this is they talk about a danger to democracy. This is the most dangerous thing you can do in our republic.
It's scary. We have a live look here. Biden is heading off to Texas. But is that your concern? He's a lame duck president now. So while we're focused on Trump and Kamala and, you know, the roll call, the virtual roll call, there's a bit of concern of what would he do in his final days here. Any thoughts on that as we leave our viewers here?
What I'm more concerned about is if Kamala Harris wins the presidency, she will win the House and the Senate. They will nuke the legislative filibuster. They will pack the Supreme Court. And if they do that, it's game over America. There goes our God-given rights to speak, to worship, to associate, to protect ourselves. Everything is on the line on November 5th, 2024. The Supreme Court is in Kamala's way.
Well, always great to have you. Mike Davis, everybody, Article 3 Project, doing some great work. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.